everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I'm here today with my first set of cards for February for Archive 365. I'm a little bit late. As many of you know, I've been ill, but good news, I'm back on my feet and I'm feeling pretty good, and I am very excited to get back to business here. I had so much stuff planned for February and I've had to kind of shuffle things around a little bit, but we're going to have an excellent March. So I'm not too worried about that. And I figured for the rest of this month, we could just concentrate on doing our cards for the month and making our little box. I wanted to thank you guys for your feedback about all of that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the box that we did last month for January as a standard component for the whole entire year. And then I will also include like extra box every month. So like a different box. So for people like me who like everything to be the same, you know, across the whole year, you'll have a constancy. Okay. And then also if you want to have things a little bit more different, or maybe that box wasn't your jam, you can try a new box each month, if that, you know, whatever floats your boat. So I think that doing it that way will give everybody a little bit of joy, and it'll be fun, and it'll be exciting to see what I come up with. I already have a bunch of ideas for boxes. So I was originally going to do one with just a plain lid, and then I was like, what if we did accordion pockets? Because I was really inspired by Junk Journal January. We had those little wallets in there, and I was like, what if we did that for archives? So anyway, I digress. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all your kind notes and messages and extreme patience while I was getting back on my feet. So let's do some crafting. But beforehand, I wanted to do some quotes for this month. I have more coming because I have one of these for every single week for the month. So there'll at least be one extra printable sheet along with every video. And then if you guys have any requests or needs or anything like that, you can just let me know in the comments below, and I will, I can, you know, adjust to those. One of the things that I wanted to start doing with these kind of like text blocks where we have a group of words that are kind of interchangeable. Okay, so what I did is there's like nouns, there's like adjectives, and there's verbs, and then we have just like some articles as well, so that these can be put together in a myriad of different ways. So if I give you one text block, say every week, or every other week, just depending on how interested you guys are in having text. But by the end of the month, we would have like an amazing vocabulary, right? And we'd have all of these different words and things that we could put together in so many different ways. So what I did with this for mine is I cut it out in a block like this, and I'm just gonna cut my words out as I need them. Okay, so that's kind of my plan for this. Because I thought if I cut all these up into little pieces, I'll never see them again. You know, even if I keep them in a little container or whatever, I'm really good at knocking that stuff over. So I thought this would be my best bet for this. Okay, and then, so in addition to the text block, there's 3 quotes, Walt Whitman, Henry David Thoreau, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. And then I also wanted to incorporate some frames this month, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to use some of those today. I have sort of roughed out what I want to do with my cards, so I'll show you guys those right now, and we'll just get started with February 1st. Okay, so I am going to start with February 1st, and I am going to start with a frame. One of my plans here is that, as many of you know, I think I mentioned this to you guys, we have a family trip that we do every single year, with my kids' biological siblings, because they're adopted, and their siblings were adopted by different families. So, we get together and we go to Disneyland all together. So I have a bunch of pictures and stuff from Disneyland that I want to incorporate into my cards. And I did, for privacy's sake, I put little Mickeys over everybody's faces. because some of the kids, you know, they would like to have their privacy, which is totally understandable. Okay, so I'm going to start here with this, and I have this frame already, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over actually and have my frame go on here on this side, and I'm just going to frame my picture for that day. And what I did is I printed these out on this little mini photo printer. I think I may have showed this to you guys before. It's just a little mini photo printer that I got off of Amazon, and it comes with like the little papers inside of it already, and it doesn't have any ink. The ink's in the paper. It's those, it's called zinc. So yeah, so that's on the back of this. So what I'm going to do is this is our kind of traditional, what do you call it? Inaugural ride at Disneyland is the teacups. So I thought I would start with that. And I'm just going to stick this here. All right, so there goes that off the back of that. And then I'm just going to try to center this in the middle here. It's nice that it's all pre-stickied. And then I can just go ahead and put my little frame here right over the top. If you wanted, you could leave one side open so you could slide things in and out too. I absolutely love to do that. It's like one of my most favorite things to do. I don't know why I love the frame pocket so much, but I just do. Okay, so here's this. Yeah, make sure I get my roses going the right way. And I'm gonna have that go on here. And then because I picked this like crazy busy roses frame, I went ahead and I punched out myself a bunch of Mickey Mouse heads with this punch. This is EK Tools, and it's one of these confetti punches, and I really love these guys a lot, and I, you know, purchased this one specifically for, you know, memories for this trip. So I thought it would be perfect if I just took some of these littler ones that I had here and kind of like integrated them into my frame here, because it's already really, really busy. But I thought it would be cute to have just a couple of them running around like hidden Mickeys, you know, on the little frame. And then I have them in different sizes too, so I figured what I could do is kind of just put them around the frame in like all different ways. So that way I can make this like kind of like a little tiny work of art. I mean, I don't know like how much of a work of art it's gonna be, but like I'm not really like a big like scrapbooker, you know. You guys know I'm a big junk journaler, but that's different than being a scrapbooker. Different than having the memories, you know. One of our family members is a most excellent picture taker, so he usually is captain of the photos for the trip, and then kindly provides them for the rest of us who aren't as diligent about taking photos all the time. Back in the day when we used to go when the kids were really, really small, they used to have like a photo pass thing that you could get, and then they would just have photographers everywhere, and they'd constantly be around to take your picture. They don't really have that anymore now, since, you know, everybody has their own phone and all of that. So we used to get all of our photos from the photo pass. I may have to come back through. I think what I'll do is I'll come back through with like a either a watercolor pencil or a like woody, like one of those like water soluble pencils, and just outline my Mickey so they stand out a little bit more than they do. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a couple of these words off of here, and I'm going to do a good day. And I thought this would be ideal because you could cut this all the way to the dark color, or you could leave the lighter color around it if you want. So there's a little bit of flexibility in there. Okay, there's that. And there is day. It's right there. This is kind of like the refrigerator magnet poetry. It's just like all the little pieces, and then you can just cut out the little phrases that you want to make it, like, you know, customized. Okay, there we go with that. And I will try not to like make every single one like too much, you know. Okay, all right, so I think this is gonna actually work out really well. I also have like, I got like a little, one of the pieces of ephemera from the kit is like a candy wrapper, so I got that too. Even though like, I'm not sure how much, like the kids were little, they would be just, like the second we'd get in the park, they'd be wanting cotton candy and ice cream and all of that. And it's so funny how it's changed. They don't want the cotton candy and ice cream anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna try to keep this so it goes like this and doesn't go out off the card. Just because I want it to, like, you know, stay inside the holder. And hopefully that's enough there. There we go. And then I have this little guy over here and the little heart circle that I got out there. I also have a big Mickey. I don't know if I want to put him on there or not. I could put, is that too goofy though? I don't want to cover up my picture too much. I think I'm going to do that. I'll have to get myself out some pink thread to go with this kit, or maybe some red, so it's a little bit more of a statement, you know, when it comes to the color. Oops. Oh, and then don't let me forget to put my date on, because I will forget. Okay, so let's put a little bit of ink on that guy. Oh, I also, all right, I think the next one, no, oh, it might be the next one after that. I also wanted to use like some kind of like interactive type of mechanics on some of these. So I think I'm going to use Brad's today just to add a little something something, and then I'll just try to incorporate like all different ones as we go through here. And then I'm going to grab my February 1st, and then what I will do is probably end up writing on the back of this guy. There we go. And there's my February 1st. There we go. It's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one aside, and then let's see what we've got for our next one. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm gonna do like a more simpler version of what I just did, but I want this one to have like a more like botanical kind of field notesy type of a situation going on for it. So I picked this like simple, like, or more simple silver frame. And then I'm going to stick that on here on this kind of busy background, but then offset the background with some words and a little flower. This is like slightly off here. that's just like, I think it's nice to have these little types of reminders here when it comes to like just even everyday living, right? Like just the nice reminder to stop and look around, you know, smell the roses, that sort of thing. That's what this one's gonna be here. And I think it also, like, one of the reasons why I thought it'd be fun to include some quotes this month is because I also think, like, if you ever want to go back through your artist trading cards and kind of look through what you've made, it might be doubly nice to have a little bit of inspiration kind of woven through there as well. Okay. Put that right on there. I just love the way this frame looks with the text. If it's too much for you, you could always put a little paint on there just to take down the print a little bit. You could just mix it with a little white paint, or, you know, any sort of white-ish paint that you have, and just mix it with a little bit of water. Okay, so then I'm going to put my flower on here. And I'm only going to glue on the actual edge of the frame so that I can slide this underneath, okay? Because I'm not exactly sure of my placement. I want to get this down first. I want to have that. Get that right on the edge there. And then what I want to do is kind of have this go like right under there. And this one can be glued like just right directly to this. I like the idea of like getting the words like right into the little spot right there. Push that one up a little. We got that one right in there. All right, I'm going to, I got my little mess there. Okay, I'm gonna add my date to this guy now. And this is a good, I think this is a good example of like a pretty easy one. Kind of like, this is like containable, like pretty simply in one day. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really have to think about this one too much. You know, it just kind of came together. There we go. I'm gonna put that on there, and let's see what we've got up next. Okay, so let's do like more of an interactive one. Okay, so I thought what would be fun is if I took this one here, which has this just has like a flowery background on it, and then I printed the lined backing page on the back of it. And then I thought I could attach this cute bookcase to the front of this with a brad, and then the bookcase could move to reveal the quote. Now, that would make like a little fun situation for where the quote is. I'm gonna have to see if I need to trim the quote down at all, or if it'll make it like hidden behind here or not. Okay, and I picked the go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you have imagined. So All right, so I'm gonna trim it just a smidge on the sides, just so that I want it to be hidden underneath there. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a smidge off the edge on either side of this. I always like to take a little off the top and bottom if I take it off the sides, just to try to keep their proportion the same. Okay, here's that, and then let's go here. Okay, so this is what's gonna go on the actual back of the card. And you know what, do I have? I think what would be nice is if we put like a little bit of like book page down on here. All right, so why don't we put a little bit of book page on here? I'm gonna grab my ruler here. I also thought, you know, I'll just kind of slowly start to work in other kind of techniques for these, like mixed media. We can do some stamping. If there's anything else you guys want to learn, let me know. We can I feel like this is a really good, this is almost even a better experimenting ground than even Junk Journal January, because the scale is so small that it is not very threatening. Like, I'd be willing to try just about anything, you know, just because it feels like super low risk. You know, it's not even bound into a journal. So if I mess it up, I could redo it or, you know, fix it however I want. Okay, I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to use some glue stick for this book page paper because it is a little bit on the more fragile side here. I do kind of like the idea of just having like a little bit of a contrasty background here. And this background could be anything from like, it could be a piece of the background paper, because there was like collage background papers, and there was a ledgery one. So you'd have like a bunch of different options here. Okay, so what I want to do here now is, okay, I want to have that centered on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a hole. I have this little kind of mini hole punch one. If you don't have a mini hole punch, you can just use an awl or whatever you use to poke your signature holes. That same tool should poke the right size hole for this. Alright, let's see here. That should be good. Okay. See, it pokes a very tiny hole. I don't know if you can even see that there, but it's very tiny. All right, I'm gonna grab a brad here. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this through the hole. There we go. It looks kind of like, these are square, but I think I'm gonna try to turn it like a diamond. So it kind of looks like it's part of the bookcase there. Just kind of depends on how this is gonna shake out on the back here. Okay, great. And now I have that. So this can go to the side here and reveal our quote. Okay, so let me grab that. I'm just gonna put some extra like standout ink on there. Okay, let's put this here. I kind of want it to go just ever so slightly. I feel like it will be better for it. Let's see if that covers it. I think it does. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that straight up so I can get this lined up correctly. And now we have like a little interactive kind of secret situation for our card for, this is February 3rd. Should go right there. That's pretty cute, huh? I think that would even be cute in your journal if you wanted to do that. I'm thinking about this going down here as kind of like a lever almost, like off the edge of the bookshelf there, and then you could just pull it right there. If you do want to do that, you could put a little tab on there. You could either like punch it or just take like a little piece of scrap paper and fold it over and make a tab out of that. Alrighty, let's see here. We're gonna go, I think, like this much glued. It's almost going to be perfect. There we go. So hopefully this gives like a tiny indication that that's supposed to move like that. Okay, possibly one of my favorites. All right, let's put that guy aside and let's do the next one. Oh, okay, so for this next one, what I thought would be fun is I got this idea from the fact that I had cut all of those pieces of paper out for my pockets for the box for January and ended up with a lot of the, like this is just the edge strip that was from one of the edges, and I ended up with a bunch of these, and I thought, what the heck am I going to do with all of these? Because I have a lot. And I have a lot of ideas, but one of the ideas I thought would be fun would be to kind of turn them into envelopes, like just little mini envelopes for this project. So what I thought I might do is, okay, for starters, I'm just gonna make like a little faux envelope here by like folding in the, oops, I could have done a better job on that one. I don't think I got it quite even. There we go, that's much better. Okay, and then I'm just gonna fold it down right there. I'm worried it's hard to see because of the paper. So I'm just going to ink over the edges here where I'm folding. Okay, and so now I have this part of the envelope. Now I'm just going to do the bottom part of the envelope. So I'm going to fold it again. I'm just going to look at it like this to kind of decide how big I want it to be. There's no like, there's no measuring needed in any of this. Okay, and then all you need to do here is just cut it just right there where it stops at the top. All right, and then what I'm going to do is bring this fold back up and under. So this all folds down like this. Okay, and if you want, you can trim these off or you can just leave them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this down and glue it so that the sides of this are left open. Okay, so you don't have to do that, but I'm going to do it so that I can stick something in there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this whole entire flap situation down. Okay, you could, like I said, if you want to, you could totally trim these off. I'm not going to. I think it'll give my envelope just like a little bit more bulk, which I kind of want because I want it to be a little bit more 3D looking. There we go. There are also some envelopes in the kit that are just like, already ready for you to use. They're just flat and then you don't even need to do anything to them. You can just stick them right on. Okay. All right, so here's my plan. Okay, so for this one here, to make this guy, I used, the kit came with these strips of paper here. It was like little washi strips. So I used some of these, or one of these, to make let's try this one. to make one of mine here, this one here. So it's going to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just kind of like figuring out where the middle of my strip is there so that I can kind of fold my edges in so that it'll be sort of centered. It's, you know, it's not always going to be exactly perfect. And I wouldn't stress too much about it if it being perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this top piece down again. Okay, so that gives me my like kind of over the top piece. And then I'm going to fold this back because you can decide how big you want your envelope to be here at this point. It's up to you. You could have the point go all the way down here if you wanted to. I like to leave a little space. Okay, and then we're just going to make another fold right there, and that's where we're going to cut it. And you don't even need to make the fold. You could just trim it. You don't have to worry about actually doing that. And then I'm going to swing this back around here. I'm going to trim this just a little bit more. Go. And then I can glue this all together and I'll have another little mini envelope. And I thought it'd be cute to glue these on the little card there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue all that down. I'm going to grab some of these pockets here. I think this one with the writing on it might be a good match for here, even though it's dark. I mean, it's really light. I think I can put my envelopes on top of it so I can kind of use this as my background. And I also have this option. So if I don't end up loving this, I can do that. Okay, so let me put my pocket on first, okay? Just to get that going. Because, like, once you get that first thing on, that kind of gives you your anchor. Okay, and then I want to put, I think, okay, and then let's put my envelopes on here. Okay, I could get a commitment down here. I'll put this one here. This one there. Okay, so now what I want to do is make, ooh, you know what I could do? Okay, so there's one cut apart page in the kit. Oh, I just knocked a bunch of my stuff on the floor. And I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna make use of some of the pieces from that to put in here. I'm gonna cut this down. This could go this way or it could go this way. I think it's, well, it's supposed to be corrugated cardboard. I don't know. But also the back of this looks pretty cool too. I wonder if I cut it. Okay, I'm going to grab my little corner chopper thingy and just chop my corners there. I might use it on this side actually. And then we could just decorate this a little bit. To kind of go in here. Like so. Okay, so let me grab, oh, you know what else we have? Is that, okay, so this is this here. I'm going to take this right off the top here. Right, I'm just going to trim this down because I don't have like a huge spot. Very much like the idea of doing that. I would like to layer it on top of something, and I'm not sure what color I want to layer it on top of. I wonder if I layer it on this. I was looking for something a little bit darker because I wanted it to create contrast with what I have already there. Uh-oh, somehow I got two of them stuck together. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put that, I think I like it sideways. I think I might have accidentally overglued on that one. I'm just gonna slip this little paper right here just to make sure that I don't get any glue overage there. Okay, now while that dries, I'm gonna flip this over. And then what I want to do is put a little bit of this on the back here. Let me see how much I can get on here. Actually, let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna rip this with the roller to get it like a little bit straight. It's not gonna be super straight because that's not my forte in life, but it'll be close. Okay, and this is gonna go on the back here so that I do have a little bit of like note space on the back. Get this out of there before I don't want anything to stick. There we go. Oh, stick in there. All right, there we go. Okay, and then I think what would be nice is to put the date along this side here. Alrighty. Okay, I'm just gonna slide this one down here. And I don't want it to go over the pocket. So I want to kind of butt it right up to the edge of the pocket there and then I will trim the excess off the top here. Okay, that probably took me way too long to do, but you know, sometimes you just don't know. Okay, and I got all that there. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in my pile here, and let's go on to number 5 here. All right, let's go on to number 5 here. So I just pulled a couple of things out that I thought I might want to use. Okay, so basically I know what I want to do on this one is I want to do a side pocket here. So that's like my kind of my starting idea for this one. And then I thought it would be fun to have the book on the front and then have the raven in the pocket, because I just thought that kind of all goes together, you know. So this one I can probably put together pretty quickly. You guys can tell me, do you like the quick ones? Do you like the longer ones? I may do, like I said, I may do like, I was thinking next time, like maybe doing like a series. So like maybe doing like 3 at once, and then with like similar aesthetic. So like we use texture pasted a stencil on all 3, you know, so they would look like they were a series. Oops. Come on. I just gotta get that to even out there. There we go. So there's that. I want to put this here on the bottom, but I also want to do my date here. So I'm not sure if I should put it over here. I was thinking I would put it here. We could just shorten it. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of this. Kind of get that going here. Oops. Okay, I did not give that long enough to dry, I'll tell you that. Oops. There we go. I did not craft for a whole week. Can you believe that? Like, crazy, right? I pretty much not get out of bed for a week though, so I guess that tells you that. Okay, so let's trim this guy off here. I'm gonna do a little bit of ink on this guy. I don't know if I'm gonna, I should have checked before this. I am gonna have to trim him a little bit because of my pocket edges there. Pickle's still having good sleeps, so some things never change. I still probably need a little bit more off this. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's that. Okay, so I want to grab. I think I'm going to take Dream off of here. maybe I'll take always too. I think I'm gonna have to put it down, but that's okay. Okay, goes in there, and there we go. Okay, next one up. I think I will do for the next one, let's do a little pocket situation. For this one, I have music. All right, so I got myself a bunch of different stuff here. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna ink around the edge of this one to start. And then, let's see what we're gonna do. Okay, so then we have our pocket for sure here. Or we could go with this side, which I might do. Because I kind of like the flowers against this background here. I'm going to slide this down here. Okay, so I want to put this into the pocket, but I think it's going to be too wide. I could... This could go in there, actually. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm gonna grab Wild off of here. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is use this as like kind of like the pull tab up here. Just so like, you know, when you pull it out. So you have just a little something, something there. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that right there on the top. One thing I need that I don't think I have is it would be nice to have a heart punch. I have a flower punch. And a Mickey punch, as we saw. Do you have this key, though? Okay, so what would probably look good on here is if we had some contrast right in the front. What if we took this?
I'm going to put that across there, kind of like a little belly band type situation. Maybe I'll just put it as a pocket, like a double pocket situation. All right. Okay, let's see here. I kind of like the idea of sticking like little candy things in there. Like a little heart. Oh, and you know what? I have these little cute little potion bottles too. Okay, so basically all we need now is something in the back here to bring this all together. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to start by cutting this just to make it a little bit narrower, so it's like more the definition of kind of, I am making a mess, of what we think of as like a tag. All right, I'm going to count my corners here. I think I can't use this. It's too contrasty. Try putting my what if I put that there? Okay, I am rearranging this whole thing. Do you think I could do that? Is that better? I think it's better. I think this is probably too dark. The introduction of this blue is not working. Okay. I'm gonna see here what we got. Wondering if I could use this here. I kind of like how it would just be peeking out, like right there. Okay, this is a little bit crazy, but you know what? Not bad. Not bad. Okay. It also says wild on it, so I think I can totally leave it like that. Okay, so let's adhere this onto the background so I know. we go. That is a lot of glue. And I just want to put this right in the middle top. Here. There we go. Okie dokie. All right, so now I've got one left, right? Oh, and this is going to be a quote one. Okay, so I've got this here. This is kind of like an old book cover, so I thought this would be like a really cute or really good way to offset this. So this is the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote that is, "What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what's inside of you." So I'm just going to go ahead and get this guy down on there, and I think I'm just going to add some stuff to it. Because I like the contrast of the kind of dark leather with this color paper. I think that just naturally looks really, really good. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit of embellishing, and I should be in good shape. I'm kind of feeling this bird. I don't know why. I just thought of it all of a sudden while I was like just sitting here. Okay, I gotta trim this dark edge off of here. I think I did not do a great job cutting that. Okay, ink this guy up. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do here is stick that right on there. And then I'm just gonna trim the extra off the end there. Okay, and this one's going on here. Whoop, just like that. And that says believe on it. So I think that like is really appropriate for what we got going on here. And I think I'm going to cut my February 7th down. I did not use all of my pictures, which, oops. I think I can go back and stick them on the back because I printed out a couple. But I got carried away with my all the different options here. There we go. We can put that right there. And I feel like it puts me in good shape. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. All right, let's take a look at all of them here. Okay, so I think we got, this is the first 7 of February here. Sorry, a little interactive one there. Little envelopes. And this, and our little quote. So this is our ones for the first week of February. So I'll be back in a couple days to get us caught up to where we are in February now. And then we'll just keep plugging away. I think you guys can post pictures of yours in the comments on the website below, because this video is only going to be posted to my website, so it won't be posted to the public at large. So only so if you want to post pictures or whatever in the description below, please, or not the description, the comments below, feel free to do that. And I'll also double check and make sure that it's possible, but I'm 100% sure that somebody did it, and I didn't even realize you could do it. So, all right. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you're having fun, and I will see you in a couple days with another set of cards.